ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यनिजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमहायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Chapter 9, verse number 105. एवं नास्ति प्रसङ्गोऽपि कुतो स्याति प्रसञ्जनं प्रसङ्गो यस्य तस्यैव शङ्केताति प्रसञ्जनम्. So Vidyaranya continues with the topic of Jnana Upasana Vritti Bheda. The Jnani has a vritti Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. But he is aware of this fact. Whereas this Nirgun Brahma Upasaka also has a vritti, I am Brahman, but he is not able to accept it as a fact. That's why he is doing Upasana. So that in future, while whatever the obstacle is there in his mind, will go away with this Upasana which creates a Punyam. And then, he will be also able to accept it as a fact. But right now he is not able to accept. So he is doing this Upasana. Upasana is a superimposition, deliberate superimposition, very useful. Just generally word superimposition comes and we always say, that is, it always in a negative connotation. This is a deliberate superimposition. Born of ignorance when superimposes is definitely not good. But born of jnanam, not ignorance, but born of knowledge you do. You know that, you are not able to accept fact, but this person basically knows what Shastra says is a pramana, and therefore it says I am Brahman. It's a fact, but I am, because of some obstacle, I am not able to accept it right now. So it's not that he has a knowledge. He has been exposed to the teaching. And so he has understanding. And from other, and maybe possible that in a class, other person says, that is very true. I am alive to this fact that I am Brahman. But this person is not able, like in Kenopanishad, right? Basically, when teacher asked that, are you able to see this as a fact? The one person got up and said, yes, that this is a fact, that I am Brahman, etc. So basically, some people understand it very well, and yes, and they are able to, they are convinced that yes, I am Brahman. But due to some obstacle, some people get exposed to the teaching, and for years together they are not able to accept it as a fact. And all sentences in the Upanishad which reveals the identity between Jiva and Brahman are in present tense. And therefore, I should say that I am Brahman. I should not say I will be Brahman or I will have a moksha. Same thing. Self either you say I am Brahman, that knowledge is moksha, or when you say I am free, means I am Brahman. Brahman is free, means I am free. So basically, most of the people say they have knowledge but they have not gained. Moksha is also very vague understanding about the nature of knowledge. Generally, any knowledge we gain and then we say, well, I will have to do some practice. Generally, that is the criteria in the world. In order to gain anything in the material world, you gain knowledge and then you act upon it depending upon your knowledge, skills, etc., and then you gain something. So here also moksha will be gained. People say moksha will be gained. I will gain knowledge and then I will gain, and that will generate moksha, etc. Or I will have to do some practice, and then it will give me moksha. It is a totally wrong understanding. Understanding is means if your knowledge is clear, you are free. If you are free, means your knowledge is clear. That's it. That's how it is. And knowledge doesn't occur in a day. Knowledge always grows in clarity. We have to understand very well. Even though you and me wants to gain moksha because it's very lofty thing, no one wants to remain bound by anything. No one wants to be affected by anything. I'm going to talk about it. There are certain vasanas which definitely, which we have purva vasanas actually, and those vasanas haunt us. Like the world is a persecutor, and I am persecuted. In world may not be the whole world, a particular person, particular thing, and so or particular person will is a source of fear. I feel, and I am the one who is who is afraid of that thing. And this is all we call evil. So freedom from evil. Who doesn't want right away? Everyone wants. But we should understand that this knowledge also grows in clarity. This is what Puja Swamiji used to always say. And so one should have a little compassion for oneself also. We sometimes condemn a lot that people are gaining knowledge and clarity and somehow I am not able. Nothing of that sort. Nothing of that sort. We should be have a little compassion. Honesty, of course, should be there that yes, I am not clear, what should I do, etc. And so for them, this is the chapter. And that is do upasana. Just Mahavakya itself is a mantra. Like Om Namah Shivaya is a mantra people do, that's a Saguna Brahma Upasana. Same way here also, this is a Nirguna Brahma Upasana. I am Brahman means you take yourself as an individual only, but you superimpose Brahman upon oneself. So that's how this, so this Upasaka has a vritti, Aham Brahmasmi. Jnani, of course, has a vritti. He doesn't have that vritti all the time. I am a human being, you and me doesn't have a vritti all the time. We don't, we have discussed this thing. Once you gain jnanam, you have not to retain it. Whenever you want to recall, it's okay. 2 plus 2 is 4. You don't, and you and me don't repeat all the time. 2 plus 2, 4. 2 plus 2, 4. And the Pancadasi class, the different vrittis come. So then, well, now once you come out of this class, what will be the answer of 2 plus 2? Because I did not repeat during 1 hour. So, Jnanam is Jnanam. That's it. Once it is generated in a form of a vritti, but you have not to maintain that. So this Jnani basically do not maintain, of course. He doesn't have to, but whenever he does a transaction, he transacts as an individual. Please understand that he transacts as an individual, but he does not take the individuality as a reality. Exactly like the actor doesn't take whatever the role he does in a movie, etc., but he doesn't take it as a reality. He is aware of himself as an actor, whoever he may be. So this is how, but let's say the person doing nididhyasanam, etc., or even a jnani has that vritti, let us say. the Aham Brahmasmi, etc. And the Upasaka has Aham Brahmasmi Vritti. Well, both have the same Vritti, but there is a Veda. One is superimposing upon oneself. For the person, the Upasaka, it's not a fact, whereas for a Jnani, it is a fact. So, and uh, I mean, the person, suppose he is doing an Nididhyasanam, for him also, he also takes it as a fact. Only thing is, he's in a process of removing certain Vipariya. We have understood Viparita Bhavana, the Dehatma Buddhi, which is also a Purva Vasana only. So he is in a process of getting rid of that Purva Vasana. And we call it as a Nishtha, etc. So he may be also practicing, suppose Aham Brahmasmi, etc. Well, I have talked about different types of Nidhyasanams before also in a various context. And so you may be doing Nidhyasana, but for a Nidhyasana Karta also it's a fact. He is not doing this Aham Brahmasmi, etc., to gain knowledge, that repetition. It is, well, it is, and in fact, to be honest with you, it is not Aham Brahmasmi Vritti. Even for Nidhyasana Karta, varieties of things are there. So I am Shuddha, etc. I am free from the birth and death, etc. Or even doing this also, that how can I take myself as a body, where the physical body. So he sees a very clear distinction between the physical body, the character and the features of the physical body, and the features of Atma, etc. Well, and so he's able. We may take a help of even Avasthatraya, etc., or he may take help of a Panchakosha Viveka. So, but he's in a process of getting rid of this Viparya, which is there in unconscious, because it's a beginningless. Ignorance is beginningless. Taking oneself as a body in any janma is also very natural, and therefore he's in a process of getting rid of that I am Deha, etc. So he may also maintain this kind of vritti. I am Shuddha, I am free from the body, I am Brahman, etc., etc. So, but for him that is a fact. But for a Upasaka it's not a fact. And I told you the reason is, even though both are exposed to the teaching, but one is taking as a fact, one is not able to take it as a fact because of obstacles. What are the obstacles? Vidyaranya doesn't discuss, and there is no need also to be discussed. The obstacles could be very evident, or obstacles could be not so evident, maybe from the past. And so, due to some papa karma or whatever, one has not to go into obstacles. One should take, one should objectively seize where one stands, and then one has to proceed. If you feel that this teaching, even though you are very committed and serious about this, but somehow you are not able to appreciate it at all, then in that case you can take help of this upasana, which is nothing but a repetition of this Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi, etc. Anyway, but for a Jnani, well, now he is basically has, because Atma alone is a Siddha Vastu. Nothing is Siddha Vastu, everything is Sadhyam. Siddham means which is accomplished. I is accomplished, it's a common sense. I need not have to accomplish. If I is to be accomplished, then who wants to accomplish? Who is that person? That I alone is accomplished. I alone want to accomplish, and I alone is to be accomplished. Kya baat hai? So I is Nitya Siddha Vastu. Regarding I, there are certain notions due to ignorance. Already the fact is something else, and you take it something else. Even though your experience reveals in keeping with your notion, naturally. Notions are there because, and you say, well, Swamiji, this is what my experience is. That I am a human being. I am this. I am born, Swamiji. I have a birth date and all that. And this is experience, and therefore that is a reality. Experience need not be a reality, and it is not a reality. We have to understand very well. What you take yourself to be based on your experience need not be reality. The whole world is an example. Whole world. The way you perceive the world is not like that. We should understand very clearly all this. Thanks to scientists and the sciences, they have revealed that what you perceive and what you experience, well, the reality is in fact opposite to that. And I used to give examples, so several examples are there. We need not have to go out into science, and now certain gross things, that there is no sunrise. Even though you experience sunrise every day, you see the movement of the sun every day, really the sun doesn't move. And what you experience, the earth as a stationary, well, earth really rotates and revolves also around the sun. And so the experience is just contrary. You see the sky also with varieties of the colors, but the sky is basically colorless. It's a dark, totally. Anyways, how thousands of things are there. You see the sun as just a disc kind of a thing with a, like a $1 $1 coin kind of a thing. It's not. It is it's a more 13,000 times bigger than even Earth. That's what my understanding was. Maybe wrong, but it's very big compared to the Earth. So, and there are thousands of things. So many things are there. And so my point is, just because I experience myself as a limited being, I experience myself as with a certain attributes. I experience myself with a body, and therefore I'm body, etc., and with a birth, death, and etc., and that is what I am in reality. Need not be. In fact, it is opposite. And your experience also reveals that. May you count those experiences. Experience of deep sleep state, you cannot discount it as it is. It's also a equally important step. Just because you don't transact doesn't mean it's your own state. There is a state of you which transacts with the world. There is a state of you where you don't transact. And of course, it is a part of the order, Ishvara's order, in fact. So, well, let us not discount. In fact, that is, if deep sleep state is not there, person will be a mad person. Within a few years, he will be totally a disoriented guy. So, point is, it's a very important thing. Based, even though it's a tamoguna predominance, but tamoguna is required because all the time sattva and rajas are functioning. Either you are gaining knowledge, either you are doing something. So sattva and rajas are both functioning all the time. And so there is a mind which is born of sattva, and the senses born of sattva, and there are organs of actions, etc., born of rajas, and they are constantly functioning, and they are functioning, remaining in the body. So body also, the gross body also functions, and they need a rest. And therefore, tamoguna has to prevail. I mean, it has to predominate, so that both the gunas will take rest. I mean, the guna means you can understand the karya of the guna. So it's an order. It's an order, and we have to take into account, well, of course, that. And we also take into account the deep sleep state, and definitely that's a different state where you become a creator, where you become a efficient cause, and even a material cause of the whole creation, what you create in the dream world. So it has to reveal. So in a waking state, you are not a creator. You and me will never say I am a creator of everything in a waking state. You will be saying you are a part of the creation. Ishvara has created you. That's what your understanding is. And in a dream, you become the creator, and therefore it's a different state. And deep sleep state where you resolve everything, and including time, space, everything resolves into you. And this is a different state. So all the three states should be taken into account, and therefore, just in a waking state, you have understanding that I'm a human being, I am a so and so person, I am a householder, this, that, etc. Cannot be taken as a reality. Then if you take that as a reality, if it is a reality, it cannot be negated. If it cannot be negated, your understanding about yourself, which is there in the waking state, should continue. Should continue because it cannot be negated. It's a reality. It should continue even in a deep sleep state. It should continue in a dream state, but it doesn't. And if it continues, then there is no more dream state. If this understanding that I am so and so person continues in a dream, it's not dreaming, you are really in a waking state. If it continues in a deep sleep state, there is no deep sleep state then. And therefore, we should understand very well that even though generally we don't, we give examples, even because one has to gain this knowledge in a waking state. So we definitely take examples of the waking state, and it is sufficient also, including to prove that I'm limitless happiness. Honestly, it is very evident even in a waking state. We do not have to go to other states, but as such, just because we do not have to go to the other states, it doesn't mean that they are not important. They are very important, and that's how Shastra, Mandukya, etc. they talk about the three states very elaborately. And one which pervades all the three states and transcends all the three states cannot remain identified with one state. Therefore, you really transcend any state, and you pervade also. Without you, where is a state? Where is experiencer itself? The very experiencer requires the consciousness, and therefore, in a given state, whatever may be, you are a waker experience or a waking world experience or a dream world experience or etc. All this is possible. Totally, total experience is basically possible based on consciousness, and therefore that's your reality, which cannot be negated, right? And therefore, the person who gains this kind of clarity, well, still that Dehatma Buddhi, etc., which we call Viparya, will be there. Then we say Nididhyasanam, etc., has to be done. But for such a person, he is accomplished person. Yeah, even a Nidhyasana Karta, he knows. I do not have to accomplish anything in the life. Well, I am the one who is already accomplished, etc. I mean, I am limitless consciousness. I am silence, or I am free. I am timeless, and therefore I am secure. There is no security anywhere else, etc., etc. Anyway, so for such a person, there is no sadhyam. There is no sadhanam also, because siddha. Even so, Veda Purva also, I'm purposely talking this. Veda Purva, the earlier portion of the Veda which talks about the different types of sadhanam and sadhyam, has no relevance now for that person. In Veda Anta also, where there is jnanam is a sadhanam, and under the ignorance, spell of ignorance, moksha is a sadhyam, etc. And this jnanam is a sadhanam, etc. That also has no purpose for this person now. So the entire Veda basically, well, which talks about various sadhanam, sadhyam, etc. Well, he has literally transcended, and therefore all vidhi etc., do's and don'ts, etc. also are withdrawn by the Shastra, because Shastra wanted that someone should pass through this both the sections of the Veda and ultimately gain that goal. Once you gain the goal, Veda says, well, you are free. We don't have anything to command over you. I mean, so basically, if Vidhi Nisheda Shastra itself, gives a total freedom. Otherwise, you see, understand, this is called freedom where even you don't have any religious do's and don'ts also to bind you. Anyway, and so far as you look upon yourself as a human being, etc., depending upon, the ajnana, well, then Shastra says, well, you have certain do's and don'ts to do, depending upon your stage of life, etc., and so that is okay. So, basically Varnashrama, etc. And there are Samanya dharmas also, Varnashrama are Vishesha dharmas, but so all dharmas, do's, etc. also are there. Certain things are Nisheda, which is not to be done, that also is applied. But once you have passed through this, definitely you pass through that. Not that you have bypassed it. No one has bypassed it. Bypassing dharma, etc., you cannot transcend dharma. So one follows dharma, doesn't do adharma, etc., and slowly grows in your understanding, gains adulthood, and then you're exposed to the teaching, maturity, etc. is there, adhikaritam is there, and then one one becomes free from this totally. Because Atma is free from dharma and adharma both anyway. So basically, so Vidhi Nisheda Shastra is also not there to regulate. Then the question was, which was asked in verse 98 actually, and that Purupakshi asked that will this person will not violate the dharma and create a havoc in society? Well, Vidyaranya says, well, Shastra doesn't want to regulate this Jnani because he doesn't require it. He has accomplished the goal, and and uh, and there are two reasons for that. Since he has practiced basically and practiced the regulations as a sadhana uh, for gaining a chitta shuddhi, well, followed dharma, etc. See, the dharma also is a one. This dharma is also a part of karma yoga. Karma yoga has four sections actually, which is talked in the third chapter. So vihita karmas are there, which you do well because of a fear of the that if you don't do what Shastra has said means Ishvara has said. It's Ishvara's own thing. And therefore, well, so do's and don'ts basically are the likes and dislikes of Ishvara, basically. Like what Shastra says, that means Ishvara says, means Ishvara likes that. Shastra says you do it, means Ishvara is saying you do it, means Ishvara likes it. And therefore, well, one follows. If I don't follow, well, there will be something wrong occurs in my life. So basically, one does even a karma yoga, let us say, following this Vidhi Nisheda, well, Vihita, etc. So based on fear, still it is a karma yoga because you are definitely cutting your fences, right? Ragadvesha. Even though you don't like to do, but because they have fear you do. And then, well, you grow in your understanding, and then, well, not out of fear, but you know its value and you do it. Initially, when you don't know the value, well, just because Shastra has said or Bhagavan said that if I don't do well, what something bad will happen, and therefore, out of fear, you do. That's not a maturity, of course, and but you grow in understanding of dharma, etc., or the Vidhi Nisheda, that it has a place. So then you do it with understanding, you follow that. Then also you are cutting your ragadvesha, going by Vidhi Nisheda. And also dharma is, the keeping in how that there is a harmony in the creation, etc., which is the meaning of dharma, which sustains the whole creation, etc. Therefore, well, everyone is offering themselves, well, my life also is sustained by that, and so, well, let me also offer. So, attitude of offering, that is also karma yoga. So, there are various ways of talking about karma yoga. Karma yoga can be vihita, vidhi nisheda, karma yoga can be dharma, etc. So, like that. Anyway, so he has passed through this, and therefore now it is his second nature. Automatically, he does it, even though he has no deliberately a worship to follow dharma, etc. He is free from that, but automatically he does it because he had followed before. So this is one of the reason, and therefore, O Purupakshi, you need not have that fear that, well, just because Shastra does not regulate this person, well, there will be he may violate dharma, etc., and create a havoc, etc. No, no, no. And the second thing is very important is this is jnanam itself, brings a lot of compassion. Yeah. And therefore, basically, he, out of compassion, whatever he does will be based on dharma. And therefore, definitely, so this actually, compassion was blocked by ajnanam and ragadvesha, etc. But now it is not there. And so, for him, it's a natural. Compassion is natural for any jnani. And therefore it comes out in the form of a lokasangraha, we know very well, doing the activity which is of course based on dharma. So it's not that this is another reason that he will not violate dharma. Automatically he will follow dharma. But one should know that there is no doership. There is no deliberate, let me follow Dharma accept. Nothing of that sort. It's just naturally he follows it, and just because of two reasons which I gave it to you. Whereas for a karma yogi, well, following dharma, etc., as I said, it is very deliberate. For a jnani, it is natural. So Shastra says, well, this person is not bound by the rule, and therefore he samadhim karotu. Well, he may meditate, he may not meditate. Well, he's free to meditate, etc. He may not meditate, he doesn't do anything. He may not even sit and say Aham Brahma, nothing. If he wants, if he does it. This is the freedom. This is a freedom where you don't have a fear from the Shastra also. No fear. No fear whatsoever. Freedom from fear. Freedom from evil, we say generally. Also, it involves freedom from fear. So, mukta hai. And then, it says in verse 103, Vidyaranya paraphrased the chapter 3, one shloka of chapter 3 from Bhagavad Gita. Naiva tasya krutenarthaha na kruteneha kasyana na kasyana na chasya sarvabhuteshu kasyidartham vyapashrayah, etc. So that has been paraphrased in 103. Means tasya, for that jnani, artha nasti. There is no purpose, no goal is achieved by what? Naishkarmena, in verse 103. Naishkarmena is by withdrawal. There is no purpose. We sometimes withdraw from something in order to serve a certain purpose. You feel that if you remain engaged in certain things, well, someday you are inviting problems. Well, so you withdraw. This person, well, Naishkarmena, he is not doing anything. He is not engaging any worldly activity, or may not be engaging any religious activity. Ritual is going on, suppose, and he may not attend also. Ritual is there, he may not attend? He may not attend. He may attend. So a very big function may be there, and jnani may attend, may not attend. I'll talk to you where he generally attends because of certain instructions of a Bhagavan in the chapter 3. That I will talk to you. But we are talking about the freedom. He may attend half an hour, he may attend the full freedom. Full freedom. Nishkarmena tasya artha nasti. So, well, withdrawal is no more any sadhanam for him. And then says, na karma bihi, engaging the activity. Nishkarma means withdrawing from activity. And here, na karma bihi, he may not engage into certain activities, like Panchamahayagnas, let us say. Well, no purpose. Tasya artha nasti. No goal is to be accomplished. No goal is to be accomplished, not out of tamoguna. Goal is already accomplished. Because therefore there is no sadhana. Well, the goal is already accomplished. He did not understand, therefore he set the goal. Anyone who sets the goal has certain agenda. He is purely ignorant. Purely ignorant. Any goal is ultimately for one's sake. One's own sake. And really speaking, if in not understanding oneself as what Shastra says, you have a lot of agenda in mind. This is to be done, that is to be done, that will give security, I should reach that place, that will give me some peace, I should associate with that person, that will give me joy. This is all agenda. No agenda, because goal is accomplished. There will be another person who doesn't have an agenda, because he may be feeling that I may not be able to gain that goal, so he doesn't keep agenda. Out of tamoguna also people do. But here it's purely based on this knowledge that, well, the goal is accomplished. Any agenda in anybody's mind, well, if he comes to know, he says, well, that is accomplished. Any accomplishment. Even so-called fame, name, etc. also. What is fame? You can understand. Fame means what? You want to spread yourself or your name in everyone's heart. That's it. He is already there in everyone's heart. He has manifested in everyone's heart, in fact. So anything anything. Or if someone wants to, gain a certain post, etc., so that one will, one will, one will feel a more accomplished person, more, one will feel a little more fulfillment in one's life. He is already fulfilled. So anything. I talked about this because other things are we generally talk money and this and that. No, anything, name, fame, or position, or anything, or power, etc. Why you want power? Well, so that people will look up to me, and more power will give more security. I will have more independence to control over others, and etc. This. What will you say? Then ultimately, you have to bring the same thing. Point is, what I'm saying is that basically you are independence, not you are independent. You are the independence, and then you are free. And therefore, if any by seeking something you want a more independence, etc., well, you are already there. So basically, Gnani is a one. He has no connection with the pravritti and nivritti. Pravritti, nivritti both has a role. Therefore, we have ashram vyavastha. So the brahmacharya ashrama and grasthashrama, pravritti ashrama, and the other two ashramas are nivritti ashrama, and both have a place. What pravritti can give, nivritti cannot give. What nivritti can give, pravritti cannot give. Nivritti means not retiring. I told in the morning also. Nivritti means you are committed to knowledge. Means then definitely you will not engage yourself at that time, at least. In a pravritti, like you are attending this class right now, definitely you have kept aside your duties or whatever things are there, you have kept aside. You have a list in the morning itself that these are the things to be done today. But you are not engaging, at least for 1 hour. So nivritti is also important. And well, this is over, and then you will say, Swami, it's enough. Now, even though whatever the great tea of Pancadasi is, we cannot fill up my stomach. I have to do a lot of things. So pravritti is also important. Both are important. But this person, basically, for him, pravritti and nivritti is not important because it has served the purpose. Pravritti has served purpose to give him adhikaritvam, karma yoga, etc. Nivritti, the jnanam, also has served the purpose. So that is how naishkarmena or karmabhihi na tasya, for jnaninaha na arthaha. Well, he doesn't have it doesn't serve any purpose, this pravritti or nivritti. Then he will not do pravritti and he will not do. Then what will he do? Well, he will go by his sabhava. Prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati, etc., etc. If depending upon his prakriti. Well, prakriti is basically means there is a prakriti of remaining engaged in activity. We will continue. So there are jnanis you will find they were like our Shankaracharya ji, and there are so many other teachers also, even Puja Swami or anybody. They keep on doing something, Loka Sangraha, for the people. And there are jnanis, Tapovanamji, and there are also, like Raman Maharshi. So, well, definitely the prakriti was to remain silent, not doing anything. So they remain like that. So even though pravritti or nivritti does not serve any purpose in a jnani's life, after gaining jnanam, what they will do is based on their prakriti. That's it. If a person was so much engaged, even before gaining jnanam in varieties of the things, he may continue like that. It also, prakriti also comes by prarabdha vasana, please understand that. So prarabdha, these are based on, we have discussed this prarabdha vasana, things, etc. These vasanas which has come along with the prarabdha. And therefore you find certain children, from the beginning itself, certain children are very quiet. Certain children are, so much active that their parents also sometimes they get fed up with the... So this is prarabdha vasana, which comes, the vasanas which come along, because it's a storage. So this prarabdha, from the storage, a certain lot of karma also gives you a body, subtle body, etc. is also there. And vasanas also a lot come along with that. Both only play a role in any janma. Vasanas and karma. That's it. They combine together only gives rise to that influence. These two together influence the janma of any person. So your subtle body, gross body, etc., well, based on karma and vasana both. So anyway, pravritti and nivritti doesn't serve any purpose. Na samadhana japyabhyam. Samadhana. You can take samadhanam as a here our nidhyasanam samadhi abhyasa, sitting in a certain posture, and I have talked about before also a particular type of nidhyasanam, formal way of meditating and reflecting on the teaching, etc., depending upon the issues of one's mind. We have discussed the samadhi abhyasa was first we discussed in the chapter 1 also of the Pancadasi, and the other is the brahma abhyasa. I have told you that also, listening and discussing, etc., teaching or writing notes, and all this is brahma abhyasa. Idea is only one. Shastra has only one thing to say. This human life is very rare. Every day is very rare, and therefore what is there, you utilize it. That's it. And for gaining goal, the human body is given to you. The time lot is given to you. Prarabdha is given to you. Utilize it properly. And to gain this, associate yourself with the teaching in any form. That's up to you, what is to be done. To read, to write, to discuss, to teach, whatever. Or you sit in a form of meditation and reflect a part of the teaching, etc., depending upon the issues, etc. So all this is, he is not needed. He doesn't need anything now. Na samadhana japyabhyam. So japyam, japa. So either Saguna Brahma Japa, Om Namah Shivaya, he doesn't require. Or Nirguna Brahma Japa, as I told you, Ham Brahmasmi, Ham Brahmasmi, Ham Brahmasmi, Ham Brahmasmi, Ham Brahmasmi. No. That Upasaka need this in order to remove the obstacle through generating punya, etc. That is okay. But this person doesn't require. Jnani doesn't require. That's not relevant. So, na arthaha asti. Na samadhana japyabhyam arthaha asti. We have to supply that. Like in previous case. Neshkarimena na karma bihi arthaha nasti. As well as samadhana japyabhyam arthaha nasti. This is how we have to understand. So, nirvasanam manaha. Yasya nirvasanam manaha. Nirvasanam, whose mind has become free from vasana. So don't think vasana means Swamiji, say now vasana kshaya and this maronasha also will come. No, no, no. Nirvasanam basically mainly two types of vasanas. He is free, and that too one is basically that I am a sadhaka, etc. And there are sadhanam and means, and I have a certain sadhyam, certain end. There are certain means, and I am the seeker of a certain goal, etc. All this was in any human janma. Well, definitely he was having that, has gone now totally. That's one type of sadhana. And the second is basically, or Ishvara is one, well, definitely is a savior kind of a thing. And the world is basically persecutor. I am persecuted. I have to take care of Ishvara. All this kind of also has gone. These are generally all this. Both the types of asanas are there when there is a ignorance of oneself. So nirvasanam manaha yasya jnaninaha. For such a person whose mind is nirvasana, it is free from these two types of asanas. Therefore, for such a person, all sadhanam, all means are irrelevant. Either a jnanam, either a japa, or either a rituals, worship, anything. Or either general worldly activity, etc. Everything, either withdrawing from activity also, well, nothing has any purpose to serve. And then 104 also we saw. I'm just repeating because we are doing after a long time, for I think maybe 15-20 days or something. So then it says Atma Sangaha Asangaha Tataha Anyat Syad Indrajalam Hi Maikam Iti Achanchala Nirnite Kuto Manasi Vasana. So Tataha Anyat. Tataha means Atmanaha Anyat. So entire Atma Asanga. Atma is free from any association because there is nothing to be associated with to begin with. There should be another thing to associate. If any other thing is there and Atma is there, and we say, well, Atma is free from association, well, then we have to literally we cannot take that sentence religiously, because somewhere some kind of association will happen if two things are there. But if Shastra talks it very boldly, Atma is Asanga. And also there is another statement which you have to bring it together is Atma Ekaha, right? Ekaha is Advitiya. And therefore basically Ekameva Advitiyam, Chandogya and elsewhere also. Many statements are there which reveals very Mundaka Upanishad very clearly says what is there in front is Brahman, what is there in the back is Brahman, what is there in the side, right side is Brahman. So everywhere it's Brahman, one Brahman alone, everything is there. And therefore in that case, there cannot be any association. And so, tatahanyat, other than that, such a atma, whatever because now Shastra brings, tataha anyat, when it says, you have to understand immediately that they are talking about this experience world, which is of course Brahman, but here it takes into account your experiences. Because you will immediately say, I am experiencing that Swami. He is different from me. How can you say, well, Atma is Asanga, etc., and then Atma is one without second? I am seeing the other person right there. I am seeing other people in the students in the classroom. How can you talk like this? So, well, definitely, so Shastra has to, has to give a proper explanation of your experiences also. So here, tataha anyat means, well, other than this Atma, which is this Drishya Prapancha, etc., is Maikam. Yeah. Just because it is product of Maya, other than Atma, whatever you see in terms of names and forms, etc., is Maikam. Maikam is Mithya. Indrajalam Eva. It's like a magic show. Well, in magic show also, there are things you see, but it's an appearance. It's simply appearance. It's appearing existence, not a real existence of anything. So, whole this show which is there in terms of varieties of the names and forms. Because of names and forms, you count duality. Really speaking, all of them are just appearing existence. The reality behind every name and form is one Atma alone. And therefore, from the standpoint of Atma, then second thing cannot be counted. What appears cannot be counted in reality. And therefore, well, but why at all it is created? There's also a question all the time. Why at all created? Then we say, why this magician create all these things? So many things he creates sometimes. Why he creates? For a show, for entertainment. Okay. So same way, this is all for entertainment. But we don't take it as entertainment. We say the world is persecuted. Then ignorance. World is basically persecutor. You say it is entertainment. We say it is a persecutor. So well, that is because you take any name and form as a reality. Why you take any name and form as a reality? Because you take yourself as a name and form. That's what it is. And therefore, if the way you perceive yourself, you are going to perceive the world. So if you perceive yourself as Atma, you find everything is Atma. Anyway, so iti achanchala nirnite, when this teaching is clearly ascertained, well, is achanchala nirnite sati saptami. Well, then basically, kutah manasi vasana. Then there is a question of vasanas of I am different and something is to be achieved in my life, and these are the means for this, and the world is persecutor, etc. So Dvaitam has gone. So experientially, what you see, experiential, you find there is a Dvaitam. It doesn't mean that's a reality. I already talked to you. Anything experiential means I will take it as a reality. That's not correct. And therefore, Dvaitam will be perceived. In terms of this, perceptual Dvaitam will always remain. It cannot go away. It only goes away when you leave the body. The body falls. Well, otherwise it will remain. So, it's appearance, but will be there. That is how we say, don't worry about this Dvaitam. We say, when this Dvaitam will go, Dvaitam will go. I'll get to gain Advaita Jnanam, Dvaitam should go, need not go. Because we basically cover the Dvaitam, all our experiences, etc. So, Kuta Manasi Vasanam, it's not a question, it's an akshepa. Where are the vasanas in such a mind of this person? Means there are no vasanas. It's called akshepa. The answer will be no. Then 105 onwards we have to see. And so here it is said, now Vidyaranya concludes, his answer to the question that raised by Purupakshi in 98, that if Jnani does not practice this meditation and this, will he not lead a life which is, will he not violate everything and he will create havoc in the society and all this, violating even propriety of the Vidishastra and all these kind of questions he asked. And we answered all this. And Vidyaranya said very beautifully that there is no question of violating. He says here finally, there is no question of violating a Shastric rule because Shastric rules are not applicable to him. So he's going to give a rule, very beautiful, which is there in the world, which is there. Like certain rules are not applicable to the certain things. Even most VIP, like a president, etc., or a prime minister in our case, well, when they go from the roads of Delhi, they have not to follow certain, the traffic rules. Even traffic police also need not follow because they are chasing someone, one who has violated traffic rules. So they chase. In the process, well, certain red signals and all this, they don't. Ambulance, well, they also, they don't have any traffic rules. So here Vidyaranya says, asya prasangaha asti ati prasanjanam shanketa. Whenever there is an applicability of the rule, tasya, for such a person only there is a possibility of violation of the rule. And therefore, there is no question of violating the rule of a Vidisha, of the Shastra for this person because it is not applicable. Because he says, I am Atma, which is free from dharma and adharma both. And therefore, there is no vidhi nisheda for such a person. If you take yourself as a human being, and then definitely Varna also appears, and even as a human being, most common, as a human being, you have a certain things which is based on common sense ethics. So that's Samanya Dharma we call. And well, based on your Varna and Ashrama also. Where are you born and in what stages of life you are and etc. etc. Well, you have some Vishesha Dharma called Varnashram Dharma. So all do's and don'ts, Vidhi Nisheda etc. of the Shastra and even certain worldly things also are there for such a person. But for a Ajnani, but for such a person, well, this thing is not there. Violation is not there because there is no applicability. So wherever there is applicability of the rule, tasya, for that person alone, ati prasanjanam, violation is possible, otherwise not. If rules are not applicable, if ambulance has the rule of rules of traffic are not applicable to the ambulance, where is the question of violation of rule by the ambulance? There is no question. Anyway, so this is what has been said in the 105, verse 106. Vidyabhavanna balasya drishyateti prasanjanam syat kutoti prasangosya vidyabhave same sati. Yeah. So Vidyaranya gives this, example, a popular example, and this kind of a thing that the rules are applicable to whom and not, it is not applicable to the other people, etc. So he is giving a very beautiful example, which is true. And like all our constitutions have a rule, right? Those rules are applicable only to the adults, not to the minors. And therefore, so many, sometime a minor does something which is against law, but in a court they relieve, the judge relieve considering his age as a minor. He may need certain treatment, psychological treatment, etc., because he has committed some crime. That's a different thing. But they, in the whatever the rules in constitutions are there, they are only applicable to an adult, not to the minor. So that's what he is giving an example. If rule is not applicable to the minor, there is a question of a violation of the rule by the minor. That's a criteria. So, so the rules which are applicable to generally citizens, etc., are not applicable to the minor. So, so that's what he said here. Ati prasanjanam na drishyate. We don't find a case of a violation in balasya vidhi abhavat. Balasya vidhi abhavat. There is no vidhi means a rule. Vidhi abhavat balasya na ati prasanjanam na drishyate. This is how you have to arrange the words. Vidhi abhavat balasya ati prasanjanam na drishyate. Ati prasanjanam is violation. We don't find a case of a violation for the child for whom these rules are not applicable. So again, he is giving an example for his general rule. Where there is an applicability of the rule, there is a case of a violation of the rule. Where rule is not applicable, then the violation also is not applicable. Even for the, by the way, for the child, of course, this constitution or worldly rules, etc. Yeah, but there are certain religious rules which are applicable to the adults, are not applicable to the child, even in that, from that side also. Like in a case of a death of a minor, etc., the cremation rule, which is generally there in the Hindu cremation rules, are not applicable in a minor case. That 13th day, some occasion, etc., function, etc., is not there for the minor. Even that yearly certain rituals are also there for an adult. When suppose someone passed away, then after a year, well, one has to the children, etc., they do certain a religious function that is not applicable to the child. So what we are saying is there is a, but Swamiji, then what for the Hindu minor, suppose if he dies or she dies, or they generally have some general ritual, etc., called Narayana Bali, etc., but other things are not there. So anyway, so we can't, what Vidyaranya wants to say, that you can't apply this Vidhi Shastra, Veda, Vidhi Shastra, the Purva Bhag of the Vidhi Shastra especially, blindly. So you should know where it is applicable and where it is not applicable. So just as children are exempted from these rules, worldly rules, or a Shastra's rule, Gnani also, well, is basically free from these rules. Asya means for this Gnani. Kutaha ati prasanga syat. How can there is a question of a violation? Why? Vidhi abhave same sati. So non-applicability of the rule being same for a Gnani and child. Well, so definitely for a child also certain Vidhi Nishedas are not there. Same way for a Gnani. Even for, let's say, this I talked Swami, but don't talk about the person, the child who dies and etc., or the minor who dies, etc. No, I'm saying he is alive, he or she is alive, a baby. What rules are there from the Shastra? No rule. Which rule? No rule. Satyam vada. He doesn't know word Satyam itself. So for a baby, even not just baby, I'm telling you 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, no rules are applicable. No rules are applicable on the Vidhi Shastra. So basically that's how, and Gnani also, well, he is of same way for Gnani also, there are no rules here. And that is why Gnani is compared to a child. He is not childish, he is childlike. Gnani is in fact adult. Real adult is Gnani. Agnani is basically he's a childish. Yeah, that's how a Gnani person, even though 60-year-old, emotionally child. Because no one is born as a adult. Everyone is born as a child. And once you are born as a child, you have a child's perception. And so you grow physically, of course. You just eat food and roam around, and one day you find you are ready for marriage. But the child, the perception of the child continues. even in adult body. And that is why it has to be initiated. That's how emotionally one remains immature. But how can you say, Swamiji, person grows emotionally? No, no way. No way. Child is adamant. You find adult also is adamant. Child cannot accept a fact of just that he was given a balloon and the balloon burst. And he cries. Father says, I will give you another one. No, I want the same one. This non acceptance of the fact is there in the child's perception. That continues. This person, and the child always sees, suppose that he likes a certain thing, and if he doesn't have and others have it, he will have a jealousy naturally. Or he has a lot of things like candies, etc. Others don't have it, and parents say, well, share it, give it to Swami, give it to him. No, I will not give. It's all childish. But we don't say childish because he is a child. But when a grown up person also does the same thing. Same thing. That shows that only body is adult, physical body is adult. There is no adulthood, really speaking, emotionally. Non acceptance of facts, etc. Same thing. We may not cry for the balloon, we may cry for something else. Yeah, we may cry for something else. But we cry. Which reveals a non acceptance of a fact, of course. So basically, even the ragadveshas all from the childhood, basically. All from the childhood. It's all carried forward. Once you take care of these ragadveshas and all this sex, understanding the facts and you remain alive to the facts and all, then that is adulthood. An emotional adult is the adhikari for the jnana. That's where karma yoga comes into the picture. But anyway, but Shastra somehow compares a jnani with a child, not in terms of a childishness, childlike, yeah, innocence basically, etc. So, Ramate balon matta eva. So he is like a child, unmatta. So basically he's ha, ooh, etc. So he is also doing a samagana and moving around, you know very well. It's in there in our Taittiriya Upanishad. Even Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Pandityam nirvidya balyena tishthaseth. So this may become a baby-like. Means what? The child doesn't have much judgment about others, right? In child's eyes, you don't see the child is judging you. Same way the Gnani also doesn't judge anybody. In child's presence, you are very comfortable, right? So here in Gnani's presence also you are comfortable, etc. Child is free from crookedness. Gnani is free from crookedness. Child doesn't have an attitude of taking revenge. The Gnani also is free from the revenge, etc. And Ragadvesha as well, of course. Very young child, that little exception, but a very young child, just a baby, is free from Ragadvesha. That is going to manifest, they say, at the age of 2 or something. Afterwards, it starts manifesting. But otherwise, no ragadvesha as such in a baby. Same way, Gnani is also free from ragadvesha. So this is the way that it is compared. Balyena tishthaseth, pandityam nirvidya. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, pandityam nirvidya, balyena tishthaseth, etc. So Gnani is compared with the bala, the child. We have to understand it is not childish but childlike. In fact, he is an adult, emotionally adult. And also then, balyam cha pandityam nirvidyatha brahmana. Very clear. Brahmana, one who knows Brahman, is a brahmana. So ultimately, so that is the portion talks about the jnani. And so that jnani is compared with the balyam, with balasya bhavaha balyam. He has a bhava. So bhava means he has a state of mind like child, means in these terms, free from crookedness and revenge and all these things. This is a statement, by the way, if you want to know, it's in Kahola Brahmana in a Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Anyway, so this is how it has been compared. Now when it has been compared like this, then if you don't have proper understanding, you take it all the way. Religiously you start comparing with the child, a jnani. and then you ask certain silly questions. That's what he's that is what he's going to discuss in next verse. And so in illustration, how much you should take, how much you should not take, there are in illustration there are features which are comparable. In an illustration, there are certain features which are not comparable. Like space is compared with, I mean, the Atma is compared with the space, giving the example of space. You should not compare, where there is a Vaidharmyam, there are features which are not. Space is an inert thing. Therefore, well, Atma is inert. Or if Atma is consciousness, space also should be consciousness. Space should be conscious of itself. You cannot compare like this. So it is in terms of just a pervasiveness it has been compared. That's it. So there are features when any example is picked up for comparing with the Atma or for any other thing. We'll be discussing like a Rajju Sarpa Drishtanta or any other. You should not religiously start comparing in all the ways. That is how Vishtadvaitin and these Dvaitavadis basically they go against Vedanta because they compare the features which are not to be compared. So the certain features are common, certain features are not common between them. If all the way it is common, then why should we give example? Because it itself becomes an example. Anyway, in Brahma Sutra also, with Vyasacharya discussed this thing in one particular sutra that people compare the philosophers. That is how the Shatadoshani. There is a grantha, I think by Vishishtadvaiti now. They say, see, this there in the philosophy of Vedanta, there are lots of defects, they say. And just they take into account this way. Take a Rajju Sarpa Drishtanta and they go all the way and then compare with the Brahman and the world and etc. So it's not the way it should be done. Anyway, so we'll discuss that thing in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.